Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Carmela's Rassle Radio Relive. This is episode 111. Do you believe this? And Rich, my buddy Rich, is with us tonight. How you doing, honey?
Hi, Carmela. Thanks for having me again. How are you? I'm doing good.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Chuck Langerman, God bless him, he told me today that this month in 2024 is when we started our podcast. So this is officially 2 years that we are on the
Wow.
podcast. I'm so excited. So excited. Um, I'm beside myself. I can't even think straight. We have a lot of hellos to say to people tonight. So if you have any that you want to start with, you go ahead. If not, I got to pull up my I got to write stuff down now. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. Um, we have a young listener whose name is John Westcott. Okay. I promised him that I was going to say hello to him tonight because he listens to the show all the time. And he told me today, and I got to tell you, it hit my heart. He told me today that he prays for me every night, and I was ready to cry. So, Johnny Westcott, we love you. Thank you so much. Mwah. This is for you. Okay. And we want to say, of course, hello to Jeannie, because as I said, her son is in Florida having the time of his life. He's got his new job. He's already been on the beach, God knows how long. I called him yesterday and started yelling at him because he didn't let me know that he got there. And I'm like, I'm okay. 4 letters. You couldn't send that to me in a text. And he started laughing. But he's doing good. Jeannie's doing good. We miss you, Jeannie. We love you. Jeannie says hi to everybody. Okay. We say hi to our regulars. We have Michelle. We have Mike. We have, of course, Chuck Langerman. God bless that man. Every step he takes, God bless him. We have Hector. Of course, we have a special hello, a very special hello to Joe Mason. Joe Mason is the gentleman who did the story on me. Let me see. He wrote me. Okay, here we go. He did the story on me, and it went. It's starting to go viral. Do you believe that? USA Today picked it up, and it's been in a couple of cities, towns, states. I don't know, but it's been somewhere, and I'm beyond happy. Beyond happy. I cannot even thank him enough. I really can't. Um, okay, so we have to say hello to him. Joe Mason, another one. Mwah, I love you. We want to say hello to his friends because his friends used to listen to Wrestling Radio 85,000 years ago, and they listened to every show. So hi to Eric Miller, Tom Waring, and Tom Doherty. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you so much for everything. You guys are amazing. Okay, so I'm going to keep looking here. Rich, do you have anybody you want to say hi to?
I'll just say hi to my lovely wife, Harriet.
Of course. Hi, Harriet. How are you? Okay, and who else? Did you want to say hi to your friend again?
Um, no, actually, this week I don't. How do you like
Go.
that?
Okay, and of course, I can't forget David. I hope you're doing well. I love you. This is great. I know you're going to listen to this too. Okay, so we also have some stuff. Let's get started like right away. I know you heard about the passing of Dennis Condrey, right? The one of the
Yeah.
Midnight Express, the original Midnight Express. How he died was so horrific. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't. I didn't hear how he died. I just heard he had passed.
Yeah, he was apparently healthy, 76 years old. His wife he had wanted his wife to retire. He had told his wife, to retire so they could have time together, they could spend time together. And she was going to retire in 2 weeks, from what I understand. And he was climbing up a ladder or a some kind of a uh, not a tree, but he climbed up something and he fell and he hit the back of his neck and he broke his neck and it made him paralyzed from the neck down. And that's what caused him to pass away. So, dear God, I'm so sorry. Our condolences go out to his family and everybody who's friends or who knows him. God forbid. That's a horrible thing. Um, did you hear about the Cody Rhodes bus tour?
No, I. The only thing I heard about Cody Rhodes was he was supposed to appear on the Pat McAfee show and never showed, and was rescheduled.
Well, let me tell you about the Cody Rhodes bus tour. There's a bus tour that you're going to be able to go on with Cody Rhodes. He's going to be actually driving the bus. He's going to have a guide on the bus as well. And it's going to be WrestleMania week, I believe. And guess how much it costs?
$2,000.
Oh, honey, you're not even close. It's going to cost over just under $10,000, $9,900 and change. Okay, to sit there while Cody drives a bus and somebody talks to you about where you're going. How about them apples, baby? That's crazy.
And you know what? He'll probably fill it too.
Yeah, he will fill it. That's the sad part. So, of course, these prices are never going to change because people will pay them. Stop it. You're going to pay for Cody Rhodes to look at him while he drives and maybe get a wink or a smile or an autograph or a picture or whatever. And what are you going to see that you couldn't see on a regular tour by yourself? Okay, that for a whole lot less money. But it is what it is. What are you going to do? So let's talk a little bit about Monday Night Raw, Rich. What's your take on what happened Monday night?
Another good angle with Obafemi putting him over, which was week number 2. I think within the next week or two, Brock will get some of his heat back and do something. Overall, it was an okay show. I'm getting a little tired of this CM Punk Roman Reigns stuff. It's really starting to bore me, to be quite honest with you.
Well, you know what bothered me a little bit? First of all, let's talk like you started with Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. I think it's good that Brock Lesnar's putting him over, and everybody in the whole world knows that I love Obafemi. I got Will Ospreay up here. Oh, you can't see him. My chair's in the way. But anyway, Will Ospreay's here. 1 week, I'm going to have Will on the left, Oba on the right. I think personally, I'm going to put this out there. I think that Oba's going to beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania because Brock Lesnar is technically getting older. He's on his way out, I think. And Oba's just coming in. So do you agree with that, Rich?
I think that it is going to be one of those like less than a minute matches.
Really?
Similar to what happened with Goldberg.
Okay, but who do you think's going to win? Oba or
Oba?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's my prediction. And what would really be great is if they started off WrestleMania with that
first match. Yeah, I agree. I don't like the CM Punk angle with Roman Reigns either, only because, and this is something I said before, WWE, sometimes their storylines are enough to put a stranglehold on you. Sometimes they're so old, they're so long, and they're so not interesting. Honestly, I do not like what CM Punk said about burying Roman next to his father. I don't care who you are. I don't care if Vince, Triple H, whoever owns WWE, I don't care. That was inappropriate. I didn't like it. My mom passed away, and if somebody ever said that about my mother, I don't know what I'd do, to be honest with you. I don't think that was appropriate at all, number one. Number two, the fact that the Usos are getting so involved. And now Monday night, if you notice, Jay was the one who told Roman to go and hit CM Punk. So it's kind of like they were kind of running the show a little bit there. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
No, I did. And it's good that they got the Usos into the angle. It's making it a little more interesting, but I agree. It was inappropriate. I'm sure that it was cleared beforehand that they were comfortable with it, but still they never should have gone there, in my opinion.
No.
And honestly, the lack of reaction that Roman Reigns had was somewhat telling to me. It was little or no reaction. He
Yeah.
should have kept them right there at the moment.
Yeah, he should have flipped out right then and there when he heard that. And I think it was weird that, CM Punk got really punched out, and at the bottom of the episode, he was like, he started laughing still, and he's like, I don't need any help. But I don't know whether it's like he's playing a mind game. He's trying to play a mind game.
Right.
Maybe it's working, maybe it's not. I don't know. Okay. But I don't know. It's like I'm not comfortable with this whole thing, how it keeps going like that. I think it's important for them to either go a different route or maybe change the water a little bit, like change the tide a little bit. It makes me very uncomfortable, like being so predictable. It just really is. Um,
But
I,
parts of
I
the angle, but now one part of the angle that I noticed on Monday, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Jimmy was so laid back about it, warning others that like Jay's kind of off the rails. And you would think that Jimmy would be just as much off the rails as Jay would be, which he
yeah.
appeared to be the week before.
Well, Jay, I think they're doing something with Jay. It seems to me like Jay is an integral part of this whole thing. So I think Jay might be involved in this a little bit more than we think, or just another thought. Maybe Jay will get mad because Roman doesn't react the way he wants him to react and turn on him. That's a thought.
Yeah, that's a possibility. And
Yeah,
the other thing too is Roman's not a full-time guy now.
right.
So how far are they going to take it?
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. I read up on Roman's working out, and even now, like, he does cardio in the morning and at night for 45 minutes each time, and he does 2 hours in the afternoon of lifting weights and stuff. And I feel bad because he does have the leukemia, so I
Right.
think just for him to be able to function on a normal basis, and show up a few times, he's got to go through this rigorous workout schedule. And I think that's why he became a part-timer. I pray to God that he's okay and that nothing bad happens. But that's something that the fans don't stop and think about. I don't think, because when something is said, sometimes like 2 months from now it's forgotten, and then like, oh yeah, he does have leukemia, or whatever. But I feel bad. I do. I feel bad for him, and I mean, I think they bring him in at the right time. There's no doubt about it. But it's a little off to me, because then if he does win the belt from CM Punk, which I honestly don't think he's going to do, but if he does, he's going to have to show up a lot, and I don't know that he can do that. Do you think he's going to win the belt at WrestleMania?
No.
No,
No, I
I
don't
don't.
think he. I think there's going to be some sort of interference by the Usos that may potentially backfire, um, or as you said, a heel turn. I think it'll be a clean pin or submission, whatever,
Mhm.
however they decide to do it. But it's
Right.
not going to be. It's not going to be without some sort of interference.
Right. And that's, I think, is going to happen to a few matches, to be honest with you. Um, what do you think is going to happen between Rhea and Jade Cargill? That's been going on now for a while.
Jade Cargill to me has been totally underwhelming in WWE. And I don't know if it's just the way that they booked her. I don't know if it's just her overall personality. She seemed to be much better, got over much better in AEW.
Yeah.
But she's very, as a character, she's very unlikable. She's very bland. She doesn't really say much, have anything to her. It's just like blah. And I think Rhea's going to win the belt back.
I agree with that. I agree with everything you just said, because in the AEW, when she first came out and she did all this, thing with the hand and everything, but she wrestled. I think Jade Cargill is more of a wrestler than she is a WWE wrestler, because clearly WWE wrestling is different than your standard wrestling. Okay, that. So I think it's the learning how to wrestle WWE style that has her held back, I think. It looks almost like she's afraid still to, like, jump in and do what she needs to do. I think Rhea, God bless her, Rhea is remarkable. Rhea is She's just good. She really is. And she puts on a really good show. She really does. She has a lot of enthusiasm. She has a lot of push to her. So I like that a lot. Now let's talk about Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vaquer. What do you think about that?
I think Liv Morgan wins the belt. I don't. I don't particularly like Stephanie Vicar. I like her
Mhm.
wrestling, but I don't like her character. And I think she's been champ long enough. And I think that I didn't expect Liv to win the Royal Rumble, but the fact that they went that way, I think that Liv's going to win the belt back. Of course, it's not going to be clean. There's another match, in my
Yeah.
opinion, that's going to have Judgment Day interference somehow. But I think Liv takes the belt.
I think that's true too, because it's kind of like almost like a politician where like somebody paid you extra money and you owe them a favor. I think
Yeah,
WWE for some reason feels like they owe Liv a favor. They owe her this. I think she's
yeah.
going to win too. I would love to see Stephanie win. I really would. I also think Stephanie doesn't have a full push. I think Stephanie also holds back a little bit, or she was told to hold back. I don't know. Um, I do like her. I do like her character. I'm not a fan of that devil's kiss stuff. I mean, it's so easy. Anybody could do that. You just turn over and bounce up and down. It's no big deal. But that's the big push that they give her. That's her prominent thing is her devil's kiss. I'll tell you, who I think is really underrated a lot, and that is Raquel Rodriguez. I
I do
think she's
too.
good. I think she's really good. And I think it's time they gave her a title. I really do.
She was terrific and dominating in NXT, and I think they've underutilized her since she's come up to the main roster.
Yeah.
And I think that she's terrific. I really like her. And she would get over tremendously as a face, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. I think she would. The only problem is though, when you become a face, you tend to not know how to wrestle anymore, and you tend to get your butt beat all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
There's like when a face gets angry, like Cody, when Cody gets super pissed, then he gets like real, gung ho about all that. But the faces in WWE are like too face. They're too nice for the most part. And they get beat up like all the time. Now let's revert to AEW for a minute, okay? We can kind of mesh this together. Did you watch Dynasty or not Dynasty? Dynamite on Wednesday night?
yes,
Okay. Now that I'm going to be honest with you, the match between Kenny Omega and Swerve Strickland, in my opinion, was a very good match.
agreed.
I thought it was a great match. And I thought that both of them did a very good job of putting themselves over. Okay. Number one. Um, Kenny Omega, I think probably they said something about Kenny Omega having some kind of big position in the AEW. So I don't think Kenny Omega is going to lose too much. He's not going to go too far either. But now let's go talk about Will Ospreay, of course, my favorite AEW person. First of all, I'm going to tell everybody I don't like the hair. Okay. He cut all the blonde off and he straightened it, and I don't like it. Okay. I like the blonde and I like the curly, but I'm a hairdresser, so that's why I feel that way. But he's really got it out for Moxley. Okay. He blames Moxley for what happened to his neck. I love Will Ospreay. Don't get me wrong. I love him. The only thing I don't like, I'm not going to say I don't like it, but I wish it could he could change it a little bit. Every single promo. This was a very good promo, by the way, but every single promo that he does, he always talks about his missus and his little boy, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I think family's the best thing in the world. Okay. But talk about something other than that. I know that his son and his wife or girlfriend, whatever she is, mean the world to him, and I get that. And everybody knows that it is oh my god, what's her name now? Windsor, Alex Windsor. Okay, is his either fiance or wife, and it's her little boy that she had with Will Ospreay's friend who passed away. Will Ospreay, God bless him, stepped in and took over the role of father, which you got to give him props for that. He's a beautiful little boy. But anyway, I just want to hear him talk about wrestling more, Other wrestlers don't do that. I don't know why. It sounds like I'm being weird, but I'm not really. I just, I'm I want him to talk about other stuff because he's got so much he can talk about, And Dynasty is going to be, I believe, in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be an excellent match. I would really love to be able to see that pay-per-view. Again, I don't like having to pay for something when you're already subscribing. But now everybody's doing it on Prime. Even if it's a movie that you've seen, you got to pay to rent it or buy it anyway. Maybe we should all get Nord MVP or NVP or whatever that's called and watch everything. VPN, there you go. NordVPN. I don't know how much that costs a month, but if it gets you to be able to watch everything, it might be worth it. But I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm looking forward to Edge and Christian getting involved and trying to take the tag team titles.
There was a great YouTube video earlier this week where Renee Paquette sat down with Edge and Christian's keeping a straight face the whole time and still acting like a total jerk. And it was really, really funny. Yeah. Christian is doing his best character work, in my opinion, in his entire career right now. And he's not even going over to the lines of going from heel to face. He's keeping the heel persona, but yet he's going over to the side of Adam Copeland. It's hysterical.
I like that. It's kind of along the lines of Stone Cold. Like, no matter what, like even with Oba, if Oba were to turn heel, I think everybody would still love him. Steve was never either a heel or a face, really. He was just Steve. And everybody loved him no matter what he did. He could have hit his mother in the face with a bottle and everybody still would have cheered, and loved that. So I think that's the way it is with Christian. Christian, of course, and Edge go back, many, 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 many years. And I think it'd be nice for them to get another title before they both go out, or whatever. I think that's pretty cool. And I like that a lot. All right. How about if we get into a couple of these questions that Chuck sent us? Because, Chuck is so, I'll tell you, I told him today, if I had the money, I would hire him to be my manager.
Thank you,
Chuck. I'm ever going to be famous, but
Yeah, and I've never met Chuck, but Chuck, thank you for the questions. They're great questions. Can we go back to one more thing about Raw?
Absolutely.
I just want to say this. I have to tell you, my favorite part of Monday Night Raw was when R-Truth and Damian Priest won the tag team belts because I read that Damian Priest did not know that was going to happen. And when he had that look on his face, that was a real genuine look of total surprise.
Really? Wow. Yes. So only Truth knew about it?
Yes. Only Truth knew about it.
Okay. And that's really nice.
And the smile and the bewilderment that happened on Damian Priest's face was priceless. And it was priceless even before I read that he didn't know about it. That was a total unexpected event, and I just loved it.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. That I didn't know that either. That's pretty cool. One more thing, what do you think about Nia Jax Lash Legend going against Charlotte and Bliss, Alexa Bliss? Yeah, Alexa Bliss.
I think Nia and Lash Legend are going to win. I think that the Charlotte Alexa thing is, I think when they were building up the friend, no friend thing, it was entertaining. You didn't know where it was going to go. Mm-hmm. I think it's to the point now that they just need to get over that already and just go on to something
and the
else.
Heart, I don't this thing all the time.
Yeah.
I don't like that either. No.
It's starting to get a little too corny for me. I don't really think that, I don't think that either of them need to have a belt right now. I think they really need to build Lash Legend, and having Nia as a tag team partner makes them, similar, to like, I'm trying to think of the male tag team, what they were called. It was like Sid Vicious and Danny Spivey.
Oh, the Twin Towers, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that, except for the ladies this time.
Yeah. Honestly, I would like to see Charlotte turn on Alexa Bliss. I just would like to see Charlotte as a heel again. I just like her better that way. But also, speaking of Sid Vicious, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
I saw that.
Yep. And I read, and I don't know if this is right or not, but Bad News Brown. Am I mistaken there? I think I read that one too.
I saw that too. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Um, I don't know. I wish there's other people I wish they would put into Hall of Fame. I really do. I'm finding out recently that being in the Hall of Fame is an honor and a half, and I think there are a lot of wrestlers out there that deserve that. I do. So, all right, let's get into the questions. Carmella and Rich, you have great chemistry. Thank you. That was so nice. On the podcast, just like Carmella and Jeannie do. Absolutely. I love Jeannie. My first question is Rich and Carmella, where and when did you first meet?
I think I know the answer. I don't
Go
know if
ahead.
you have an answer. So if
No, actually, I don't. I remember what I did yesterday.
so from what I recall, you were doing the radio show in Philly and I was listening to it. And I think I wrote you a letter and you wrote me back. And we exchanged phone numbers and we talked. And then I came over to your house several times when you lived off of Pine Street,
Yes.
right? And you invited me
millions
down.
of other people that were there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You invited me down to the studio. There was one time. I believe that's how we met because I was a fan of the show and I wrote you a letter and you wrote me back and then we connected and
look at that. See that? Now you're partnering with me on the podcast. And you know what? And this goes for anybody who wants to come on, write to me. Just write me a letter at 316carmella at gmail.com and boom, you got it. Okay. We've got opportunities for everybody to come on the show if they want to. So yes, Rich, I was kidding. I do remember how we met and we've been friends for 40 years. 40 years. That's a long time. That's a really long time. But and I've never met Harriet. Never. No, I did. I did. Never mind. You're right. On a bus, I believe, wasn't it?
It was either on the bus or it was at the one of the events you did. It might have been the Buddy Rogers one.
Okay.
That you had it in the basement of some bar off of Harbison Avenue in Philly.
Yeah, that was the bus stop.
Okay.
Yeah, it had a bus on top of the building. It's so cool. Very cool.
That's right.
Yep. We had a lot of our stuff up there. Very cool. Right. I think the bus is still on there, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, next question. Unfortunately, I have noticed a lot lately that pro wrestlers who have made money in the business have GoFundMe accounts posted on the internet to cover medical expenses when they get very sick and funeral expenses when they pass. Both the NFL and NBA have financial seminars to help their athletes manage their money. Do you think AEW and WWE and possibly the Cauliflower Alley Club should have workshops and financial planning training to help the wrestlers better manage their money? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that would be a nice perk if they could have somebody come in and do that, give them some counseling, especially with the independent contractor scenario.
Well, what I think is most of the wrestlers, male and female, that have had GoFundMes or that needed help were a lot of the older school ones. Because back then, again, I keep repeating myself and I sound like a broken record, but it's true. Back then, they didn't have anything. They didn't have any resources. They didn't have anything. They made almost peanuts, sent most of the money home, because they all had families. And forget it. There was nothing. Even if they had seminars back then, what could they do? They didn't make a lot of money. However, today, especially WWE, their wrestlers are so well guarded and they're so protected and they're so, I believe, well educated that they are, I don't know if they actually have seminars, but they are doing their own thing and starting their own businesses and making money. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are just starting their own coffee now. And you know what I find crazy? Coffee's coffee. It's coffee. It's coffee. But because it's Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, the whole world's going to buy 900 cups of it. But it's coffee, okay? So if I create a coffee and I say, okay, this is Carmella's coffee, nobody's going to buy it. They're going to say it's just coffee. Who cares? But because it's Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, everybody will buy it. So there you go. But I think that they should, if they don't, I think I agree with you, like the independent contractors and some of the AEW. Again, people don't realize they compare AEW to WWE so haphazardly. WWE has been around for over 50 years. AEW is only been hardcore for 7 or 8. So that's not a fair comparison there, I don't think.
Well, what you have now that you also didn't have back in the day are royalties based on merchandising. So, when you have the action figures or the t-shirts or whatever, and let's say WWE, AEW, they get royalties, and some of those royalties get passed down to the wrestlers as to
right.
which wrestler's on a t-shirt, which wrestler's name is on a cap. They didn't have that back in those days. And the other thing too is so obviously wrestlers are paid much better today, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they know how to manage their money.
That's true. That's very true. Even back then, like people like Bruno, who made a lot of money for that time. Bruno, God bless him, he did invest his money properly. He started all kinds of stuff, and there's stuff about him is still going on. They just named a park after him in Pittsburgh, so he's got a lot going on that he did for his family, and he invested well. But you know what? Even today, with the updated WWE, I mean, if the wrestlers don't want to do it, I'm sure there's going to be wrestlers in the future that are here now that probably will mismanage their money and wind up, God forbid, in a bad way. I mean, it can happen to anybody. And let's face it, a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. And you got to understand with their what they do and how easy it is to be hurt so badly. You never know. You never know. They might wind up being in a bad situation regardless,
Well, and not only that, Carmella, the more money they make, the more money they could possibly spend, or in the case, overspend.
Right. And maybe not in a good way. I
Right.
get that. So, all right, next one. Unfortunately, I have noticed, wait a minute, hold on. Next one, I'm just reading that one again. Fortunately, this one says, women's pro wrestling has come a long way. More and more female wrestling is featured on television and pay-per-view. My question now is, nowadays, do you think all female pro wrestling promotions survive and make all female wrestling promotions survive and make money? Okay, Rich, what do you think about that?
I would say no, and the reason I say no is because I think that the top organizations. So we'll say WWE, AEW, NXT, part of WWE,
TNA.
and even TNA. They've all built a very strong women's division.
Yes.
And they've all and on their television shows, excuse me, they have devoted a significant amount of time to showcasing the women. And
right.
So they've really developed it to the point that it's almost even Steven between the men and the women.
Absolutely.
So I don't see a separate women's wrestling organization being successful. And I don't think there needs to be.
Well, I agree with you. And I think it's even the same thing with men's wrestling. A lot of independents, obviously men still have a better chance than women. But as far as independents go, okay, if you're not WWE, AEW, TNA, NXT, it's hard. It's hard to come up with stuff that people will pay that kind of money for or give you that kind of revenue. So it's not just women's groupings that might not make it. It's men's groups too that might not make it against what's going on in the WWE and AEW and TNA and NXT. So, that I think is automatically a handicap, if you know what I mean, because you're going up against these super mighty, huge organizations that have money behind them. The independents, whether they're women's groups or men's groups, don't have that kind of money behind them. If they did, they would be, on TV and doing all that other stuff. So no, I think it would be bad for women and for men as independents. Okay. Next question. With the matches that have been confirmed so far for WrestleMania 42, is there one particular match that stands out to you as a potential show stealer? Ah, everybody already knows my answer.
Oh yeah. Um, I guess it depends if, if my prediction comes true and it's a 30-second squash, I don't know that it would be considered a show stealer. It would be a great way to open WrestleMania and get the crowd really into it.
Yeah.
A show stealer, I would say, if anything, in my opinion, from what I've seen so far, anything that comes close to being a show stealer would be Cody against Randy Orton.
Okay. Look who I put up there. My boy. I love him. He would steal the show for me. He would. But no, I agree with you. Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes would be an unbelievable match, I think, under any circumstances, because not only are they friends in real life, but they've been friends for years as far as wrestling goes. And now they're both hating each other in the ring, and that's good. That's good for money. It's good for the fans. But I would love to see that, honestly. I think that it's time for Randy to win, because Randy needs to get another championship under his belt. I don't think he'll keep it for long, but I have a feeling he's going to win. What do you think about that, Rich?
I think he's going to win. I think that he's actually would like to uh, be at 16 where Cena is as well. So there could be potentially another one after that. But I think Randy Orton wins. I know we haven't talked about SmackDown yet, but the Randy Orton Cody Rhodes storyline has really took an interesting turn this last Friday, and it's going in a direction that I'm not really sure where it's going, and that's why I think it has the potential to be a show stealer. But I 100% think that Randy Orton's going to win.
I do too. And the thing is, just to reiterate a little bit on that, or to change that, Cena won 17 times. That was the whole debacle, because they wanted him to beat Flair. So,
Right.
Flair was 16. Right. But I do think it's better when the fans cannot predict what's going to happen, which they can most of the time. But in this case, you're right. With Randy Orton against Cody Rhodes, I don't think it's that predictable. It's up in the air, because when Cody gets mad, he puts on this really good persona. Randy's crazy, so he's always mad. You know what I mean? So he's always got the voices, and he's always, by the way, I have voices in my head too. Okay. And we fight. Sometimes my coworker, let's have to throw this in there, said to me today, "Who are you talking to?" And I was like, "What? What do you mean?" He's like, "I hear you talking to somebody." I said, and I'm talking. Don't worry about who I'm talking to. And of course, there was nobody there. But I do tend to talk out loud a lot of times. But Randy, obviously, no, he doesn't really have voices in his head. But that's a perfect song for him. It really is. But I don't know. I think it's time for him. We both agree on that. I think it's time for him to see what's going to happen. I'm looking forward to seeing SmackDown tonight as well. Okay, next one. As you already know, Dennis Condrey, the founder of the Midnight Express, passed away on Friday, March 20th at 74. I'm sorry, I said 76 years of age. Dennis never wrestled in either WWF, WWF, WWE, or AEW. My question is, okay, next page. Can you both name some former wrestlers or current grapplers that were or are very good workers but never wrestled in WWF, WWF, WWE, or AEW? Wow, Chuck. Could your questions get any harder? Okay. Let me think. You think too, Rich, because I'm trying to think.
I can't think of anyone current, only because I don't really follow the independents that much. So there might be some in the independents that haven't even gotten to the point of getting to WWE or AEW. But I do have a couple of names from the older times that
Go ahead.
were
Who? Go ahead.
number one Magnum TA.
Ah, that's right. Okay. Yep. Because they
Number
were in
two,
NWA and WCW. Yeah. Go ahead.
Nikita Koloff. And the other one that comes to mind is Abdullah the Butcher.
Abdullah the Butcher? He was never in WWF. I thought he was.
I don't think he was. I don't recall.
Okay. I don't know. I got to think of that. But yeah, I would say that a lot of the NWA wrestlers, not a lot of them, but some, I think I'm trying to think of who else was back there. Tommy Rich. Did Tommy Rich wrestle in WWF?
That's a good.
I
No, I
don't
do
know.
not.
I don't remember him wrestling in WWF or WWF. Definitely
Okay,
not WWE.
okay. Here's another one. Just came to my mind. Okay, Gino Hernandez from
Okay.
WCCW.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. There's a few. There's a few.
Yeah.
All right, Chuck, you haven't stumped us yet, so that's good. All right, next question. Where does the internet rank? Now, this one I don't know. You have to answer this first because this like spins me a little bit. Where does the internet rank on the list of the greatest inventions in your lifetime? And what are the pros and cons of the internet in terms of professional wrestling? Okay, go ahead, and then I'll tell you what made me spin. Go ahead, you tell me what you think.
So the internet obviously ranks as one of the greatest technical inventions of all time.
Yes,
I
exactly.
don't. I would. My own personal preference of what I think is one of the greatest technological inventions of all time is actually GPS. The ability to be able to do on a phone with maps and navigation and routes and all that other stuff. I just, I go back to my old days of going on trips and having to go to AAA to get a map,
Yeah,
to get a trip planner.
yeah,
Yeah, and there's
exactly. I
um,
I said
so
that to my daughter. Go ahead, I'll finish and I'll tell you.
um, the internet's changed the whole wrestling industry in that everybody is an expert or thinks they're an expert. In addition to, in the old days, we didn't know what was going on in other territories. We didn't know if there were TV tapings in advance. We didn't know what the results were until we watched on television. And now everything is okay, spoilers for such and such, or
Yeah.
so the information is totally instantaneous now, and there are so many wrestling websites and wrestling data sources. It's almost, in my opinion, it's almost to the amount of overkill.
Yeah, we had Mike McCurdy on here, and he like was talking about historians, and a lot of people do that where they just gather all this information and store it and store it and store it and store it where you can find anything you need or want, and that's also because of the internet. I'm not a fan of the internet in regard to I don't like the fact that people are allowed to hurt you, insult you, um, uh, screw you over one way or another. Um, but because they're keyboard warriors, it's like they're in the back of the picture somewhere, and they can type anything they want. And well, you can't do anything to me, but I think you're A, B, and C, and A, B, and C. I think that is cruel. I think it's wrong. I think it's horrible. I think it's one of the baddest things that the internet has ever done. People have committed suicide because of it. People have murdered other people because of it. People have stolen things from other people because of it. That's all the bad part of the internet. I don't like my thing is you want to talk to me, you talk face to face. I will meet you. Okay. If it's time for me to go, it's time for me to go. But I don't play that. I don't play that stuff on the internet. Okay. Now, as far as the good stuff, no, one of the bad things is too. I don't like you said, I don't like the fact that the fans, including me, know so much from the internet. It's like there's no surprise anymore. There's no uh excitement anymore. Unless, it hits you right in the face, fine, unless they can really keep it a secret, which they're not that great at doing. So the internet has made it so that everybody knows what's going on, this and that. And there's like 9 million podcasters, including us, and it gives you a platform, to do things, say things, whatever. And I got to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. Okay. I am grateful for the internet. I am so grateful for the internet. If it wasn't for the internet, I would not have had that story done about me by Joe Mason. And if it wasn't for the podcast and the radio show that we had 40 years ago, um, my story would never have gotten out there. And again, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful to USA Today, to the Asbury Park Press. I'm grateful to Joe Mason. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to Chuck Langerman because again, if there was no internet, I'd just still be some old lady having a going to a wrestling match and feeding wrestlers dinner. Nobody would have ever known my whole story. So as far as that goes, I'm grateful. I'm very grateful. And I do not like AI. I will tell you that a lot of people do this GPS chat or what is that? G
Chat
something.
GPT.
Chat GPT. I don't like it. Okay. It helps people do things. I know that. But I don't like AI. I don't like things like that because it doesn't make you use your brain as much as you need to. When you're doing stuff like kids, even in school, like, AI writes their stories for them, writes their projects for them. It doesn't make you use your head. And that's what I don't like about it. I think the internet's been a remarkable thing. I agree with you on a GPS. I really do. The only thing I don't like about a GPS is sometimes it takes you somewhere by way of China.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's like you could go like straight down this road, but in the meantime, on a GPS, you got to go around here and come here and go there, but you're going down the same road. So I hope that answers your question, Chuck. Let's go to the next one. What is your opinion of AEW's? I like this one. AEW's Don Callis as a pro wrestling manager. Go ahead.
He bores me. I don't like him at all.
No?
No.
Okay.
I've seen him. Okay.
You go.
No, I've seen him. Well, I forget what his character was in ECW.
Mm-hmm.
He was good then. This Don Callis family doesn't really excite me. I think
there's
it's
too many
much.
people in it. There's too many
Yes.
people in it. Yeah, it's too big. I don't like that either. I think I'll be honest with you. I'm not a fan of Paul Heyman. I'm just not. Okay. I did like Jim Cornette. I don't like the fact that, Paul Heyman, I'm getting a little tired of him too. Don Callis for me is somebody that I haven't seen for a million years, I do like when he does get involved. When he gets involved, he does a really good job of getting involved. He does hands on. For the most part, yeah, it does get boring. I understand that, but I think when they should make him a little bit more hands on, because I like it. I think he's got a big mouth. I think he's a good talker. I don't like the fact that he never wears socks. That really bothers me a lot. I don't like that. But otherwise, no, I think with the fact that there's not that many managers around today, really, I kind of like him. I just like his verbal communication a lot with the people that go against his wrestlers. I'm still waiting to see what's going to happen with Takeshita, because Takeshita is still torn between a good guy, bad guy issue. Takeshita is still trying to always do the right thing, but him and Okada are still going back and forth. I think they should really put them in like a big battle, like a brawl for all or something like that. I think that would be pretty cool. As a matter of fact, going back to AEW, did you see the match with Darby Allin?
Yeah. The
Oh
guy's nuts.
my God. Okay. God forbid that man, that boy, that child, whatever he is, God forbid he's going to hurt himself real bad one day. He does the most unbelievable stuff, and it seems like he doesn't give any wherewithal as far as the thought of what could happen to him. He goes out of his way so much to put on a good show, to put on a good match. And I don't know whether it's for the people or for him, but here's a guy who climbed Mount Everest, okay, put an NWA flag up there, came down, didn't have any issues whatsoever, all right? And I don't know. It's like almost like his body's made of rubber. I don't know how he does it. He bleeds at every turn. Okay.
Mhm.
I love him. I do. I love Darby Allin. I think he's awesome. I think he's a little crazy, but I think he's awesome. I just pray to God he doesn't really get hurt bad. That brings us back to the Cauliflower Alley Club thing, because somebody like him, God forbid, who could really seriously get hurt with all his little antics that he does, what will happen to him at that point? Does he have anything invested? Does he have enough money to pull him through the future if he can no longer wrestle? That's something to think about as well.
So I have a question for you, being that we're doing Q&A and we're talking about AEW, and we've never
Okay.
talked about this before.
All right.
What is your opinion of MJF?
I love him. I love him, and I love him because he's an ass. Okay. I just absolutely love him. I think he's a good wrestler. I think he is a great talker on the microphone. I think that I'm grateful that he stayed with AEW and didn't go to WWE, because I thought WWE was looking for him. I don't like the fact that he's not there a lot, but I do absolutely like him. I think he talks a good shtick. I think he presents himself really well. I think his interaction with the fans, even on a bad level, like as a bad guy, I think it's wonderful because the fans still love him no matter what he does. He's another one, face or heel. The fans seem to just love him all the time. So yeah, I do. I really do. I like MJF. Which, by the way, he just recently got married to. Her name is Alice Toot, I think it is. She works at AEW as well. Okay.
Mhm.
His wife works there. Big Cass or Big Bill, his wife works there. John Moxley, his wife works there. So there's a few, Will Ospreay, his wife works there. There's a few guys that have their wives, working there, and a few. Tony Storm, married to Juice Robinson, they both work there. No information yet either on Tony Storm and how she's doing. What do you think of MJF?
I think he is a once in a generational talent. I think he's one of the greatest talkers I've seen in years.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that one of the things I like about him is he stays in his character of being a real a-hole, even
Yeah.
outside of AEW.
And that's a good kayfabe, because there's no more kayfabe, but there's pictures on Instagram of him and his wife, and he's got his face blocked out, and he never looks happy. If you do get to see his face, he's always like, looking away or being nasty. But that's true. I like that. I like when people stay in character for the most part. It's kind of like when you're an actor. There's been people that have been actors who stayed in their character so much while they were filming or while they were getting ready to do this, that it's caused a lot of problems with their families and friends. A lot of them have lost friends because they never went out of character. So I think it's important, I wanted to tell you too, I saw that Stephanie McMahon had Obafemi on as one of her guests. And I got to tell you, I was a little jealous. I'm not going to lie, a little jealous, because I want to have him on our podcast, and then he taught her how to walk. And I said, I can do it. I can do it. I could do it before he taught Stephanie. I was doing it at work. It's so funny because I'm at work and I go from my desk over to get a file, and I'm like, as I'm walking, and this poor kid that works with me, his name is Jared, he dies laughing. He thinks that's so funny. And then, of course, I hurt myself and I hurt my back or whatever. By the time I come back to my chair, I'm like, oh, God, I should have never done that. But it was fun. I like that.
My wife, Harriet, is telling me that I should go walking down the hallway at work with the Obafemi strut.
Oh, I do it. Go ahead. Why not? Somebody said to me that I was leaving work today and I saw this beautiful young lady and she had curly hair, and I would give my eye teeth for curly hair. So I said, oh my God, I love your hair. Blah, blah. She goes, but I love yours. She goes, I would never have the guts to dye my hair purple. And I said, I'm old. I can do whatever I want now, And she's like, it's so wonderful to have that attitude where you are absolutely able to express yourself your way. I said, look, I've done that all my life. I've never let anybody tell me what to do. I was not a person who gets really embarrassed or gets, I don't care. And my mom always told me this, and I tell everybody, tell my kids, when people start sending you money to pay your bills and they start buying your groceries for you and they get your car fixed for you so you don't have to put any money out, then you worry about what they think. Other than that, it's none of anybody's business. So you go strut. You go walk down your aisle or wherever you are at work, Rich, and you strut away. You just do it. And if anybody says something to you, send them to me. I'll take care of it. because I do it all the time. I'm at work and I just go down doing this. Everybody looks at me. They're all sticking to muds. I don't care. I like it. I have fun. I got to be there for 8 hours. I got to do something. I'm like, you can't just sit there and type all day long. You got to do something. So I think it's fun. Okay, last question. In the future, does Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi have the potential to be anywhere near as big as Hogan versus Andre the Giant? Okay, you go.
No, I don't think so. The build up to Hogan Andre the Giant took place over a longer time period. They both had a tremendous amount of history before Andre turned on Hogan.
Yeah.
The event itself at the Pontiac Silverdome in front of, whether you want to say 93,000 fans or if they stretch that number, whatever.
Yeah.
That to me is one of those once in a lifetime moments. I equate that to the Hogan Rock match in Toronto at that WrestleMania, where they almost did kind of like a double turn. And when Hogan was Hollywood Hogan, but the fans were cheering for him. That, like, those are like those few precious moments that are etched forever. And I don't see this particular match even coming close to that.
No. And I agree with you. And I'm going to tell you why. I agree with like 90% of what you said. Because, like you said, it was so old school that Hogan was around for years. Andre was around for years. They built their legacy. They built their story. They did this. They did that. They won the accolades from the fans. They won the love. They won the hate. Okay. When this happened, everybody was like, oh God, there's no way this could happen. There's no way, blah, blah, blah. Now, everybody knows I was very close to Andre the Giant. And, we talked a little bit, about that match and everything. He honestly didn't care. He really didn't care. He was getting paid. He got paid a ton of money for that one match only. Okay. He said to me, it's just a match. Just do what you got to do. I think in reality, if it was a real match, Andre would have eaten him and spit him out. We know that. Okay. Andre was not somebody to be messed with. Andre was not a person to be played with. All right. I was in Connecticut one night, and I know I've told the story before, and I literally saw Hulk Hogan run away from Andre the Giant, and that was for real. Okay. With his trunks and everything on, he jumped in the car and left. So nobody messed around with Andre the Giant. All right. When this match happened, it was Hogan was like shaking in his boots the whole time before the match, because he was like, Andre, let's set up this match. And Andre's like, playing cards, go away, and he's like, come on, Andre, we got to set up the match. Well, back then it wasn't like it is now. You don't have a rehearsal, and you don't have, people in somebody's ear telling you what to do and all this. So Hogan actually wrote stuff on paper. And he's like, come on, this is what I have. I have everything. We can do this except for the ending. And Andre says, I'm playing cards. I'll tell you. He wasn't crazy about Hogan anyway. In the ring that night, up until the actual slam happened, Hogan had no idea what was going to happen. And that is a fact. All right. So at the very end of that match, Andre said to Hogan, all right, slam me now. And he did. And that was the end of it. Hogan, I think, must have lost 20 pounds worrying about what was going to happen, because he knew that if Andre didn't want to do something, he wasn't going to do it. Like we saw in that match in Japan, where he went against, I think it was Jumbo Tsuruta. Andre, you couldn't make Andre do anything. And I don't care who you were. Okay. In today's world, Obafemi is a child. He's a young man coming into the world, and he's going to listen to everything his boss tells him, because that's what you're supposed to do. All right. Brock, on the other hand, has been around. He's made his legacy. He's been around for years, and he knows what he's doing. So he has a little bit of leverage where he can kind of fight back. All right. So this has been pre-planned by other people. What happened with Hogan and Andre, that was all Andre's call. It was nobody else's call but Andre. Andre held all the cards. Andre did what he wanted. Andre did everything. Okay. And I don't care what anybody says. I know for a fact that that's what happened. Like when he was in Japan with Jumbo, he was not drunk like everybody says he was. He was pissed off. Okay. And he did not want to fight. He didn't want to do it. Okay. They forced him to go into the ring. I know I just said you can't make Andre do anything, but he was also a man of honor. So he went in, especially in Japan, and he just didn't want to do it. He got mad. He got pissed. He didn't want to do the match. He wanted to do everything his way, and end of story. So Andre, and I'm telling you this for a fact, Andre was not, and Andre was a very, 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 very sweet, very kind, very good-hearted man. He was ridiculed and he was hurt terribly all his life by fans, the ones who loved him, insulted him, made him feel like crap, called him names, threw things at him. Yeah, they did it to other people too. But Andre had no comeback, and he knew it, okay? Because he was, quote unquote, a freak of nature kind of thing. He had no comeback. And the pain that that man endured, and let me tell you something, I have a lot of problems with my back. Everybody knows that. And to be honest with you, today was probably one of the worst days I've had in a long time. Okay. But just like, you come here and you laugh and you joke around and you're like, oh, yeah, whatever. This is all cool and everything. Guaranteed when I get off of the show, I'm going to go to bed. But Andre did the same thing. He suffered. He suffered like a dog when it came to his back. And that's why he drank, because nothing took the pain away. But right away, just like with Elvis, just like everything else, people get one note, one idea, and they blow it out of proportion completely. It's like, oh, Andre was a drunk. No, he wasn't that. He became that because he had such terrific pain that nothing helped that poor man. And end of story, and that makes me very angry when people say bad things about other people. And people, again, hide behind these keyboards and, say whatever they want to say and do whatever they want to do. And, of course, because nobody sees them, nobody knows who they are. They think they're all cool. Now, see, I'm going to go on a rant, and I can't do this, okay? I always get involved in these rants when it comes to people that I know and that I care about. But, no, so I agree with you. I agree with you. And Chuck, or when Chuck's question, no, Obafemi, right now, I don't know that there is a match, to be honest with you, that could happen today that would have the same impact as Andre and Hogan. And I don't think there's a match today that would have the same impact as Jerry Lawler and Terry Funk Jr. in an empty arena match. I don't think there's a match today that could have the same kind of impact as Bruno and Larry Zbyszko. I mean, these are things that happened before. These are things that were honest to God, up front, yeah, everything was determined, of course. But the blood that Bruno shed that day, I was there. And oh my God, you could fill more than a glass for the blood that he let out. All right. So no, today everything is protected. Everything is, but back then it was crazy. No, there's a lot of matches that this match wouldn't come up against at all. So that's how I feel about that. See, when I get on a roll, then I start to segue into other things, which I shouldn't do. But, it is what it is. I protect the people that I care about. And unfortunately, I've seen Andre suffer a lot, and there was no need for that. That poor man died a lonely man, and don't get me started. But anyway, so Rich, we're going to end this. What do you expect to see tonight on SmackDown? Do you have any ideas of what might happen tonight?
Well, I'm very, very interested to see where this Randy Orton character the character development is taking, because last week he did his promo in the ring, sitting down on a chair, kind of shocked everybody and said it put a smile on my face, but I never felt emptier in my life. Then he had the backstage talk with Jelly Roll, and he apologized to him. Jelly Roll gave him this whole pep talk. They hugged. Then he beats up Matt Cardona. Then he calls him into the ring and apologizes, and then he kicks him and does the same thing to him that he did to. So I'm very unsure as to where this character development with Randy Orton is going. And that to me is the most interesting thing that I'm looking forward to.
Well, I
Because
think what they're doing is they're playing up the voices in my head persona, where he is torn between what he wants to do, what he should do, what he has to do, and it's kind of like he's constantly turning one way to another, like the voices are really speaking to him. Like, I love you, I love my friends, I love everybody, but I want this title and I have to kill you to do it. It's like that kind of thing. But we'll wait and see what happens tonight. Um,
for the last several years, and take the time that he was injured, take that off the table for a second. But for the last 3 to 4 years, and it really started when he teamed up with Matt Riddle, that Matt Riddle's goofy personality kind of
yeah,
started changing Randy Orton. And it really looked like for the first time he was really, really having fun out there. And then he started becoming beloved by the fans again. And it's been consistent like that over the last 3 to 4 years. I mean, last year, if you remember, they were supposed to have this big WrestleMania feud match between him and Kevin Owens. And then Kevin Owens had the injury and they had the pun, and that never happened. But over the last several years, like Randy Orton smiling, and even on the overseas events, those crowds were just absolutely going nuts. It's like they were blowing the roof off the arena, singing his Voices in His Head song. And
exactly. Yeah.
he seemed like he was having so much fun.
Well,
And
go ahead.
no,
Finish.
I was just going to say, it's like, it's just really interesting to see where this is going.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I think. I think a lot changed the man Randy Orton when he got married. He was married before and he had one daughter, but they divorced. When he met his current wife, Kim, okay, they apparently he really, really, really fell in love with her, okay, and they had another child, and she had 3 boys. He took over for those boys, and he said it himself in an interview. He never knew what it was like to be a dad like that, to have that many kids depending on you. They got 5 kids now between them. And I think it changed his persona a lot. I think never did he go and shake hands and hug and kiss little children. And I think overall that changed him. When you find somebody that you love that much, it does. It changes you. And I mean, he still has to do his good and bad stuff in the ring and everything, but I think he's better at it because he's happy. He was always miserable, and I think he's better at it because he's happy. That's just what I think.
I
Um,
also think he's matured greatly, because
absolutely, and
when
I
he was
think
young, yeah, right when he was in the when he was a young kid in the service, didn't he get thrown out with a
yeah,
dishonorable
yeah,
discharge?
yes, he did. Yes, he did. And now he did mature. And I think a lot of that has to do with his family. I really do. That's just what I'm going to say about it. Okay, well, let's end this. We're going to be back next Thursday, right? Next week?
Yes,
We're going to be
yes.
back, yeah, because Friday is the beginning of holiday. It's Passover and Easter week next week. So to everybody who celebrates, happy Passover, happy Easter. God bless you. However you decide you want to handle that, that's up to you. So we'll be back on Thursday, and we're going to hopefully have more questions. And again, if you want to ask any questions, just write to us, talk to us, ask us any question you want. One of these days, I'm going to do a live show, and then everybody can just hop on. I think that'd be great. If you want to be on the show, right. That's all you got to do is ask 316 Carmela at gmail.com. I will have you on the show to talk about wrestling, not to insult people, not to curse, not to yell, there's no need for that. There's no need for any of that. You can get your point across very well without being an ass. Okay. So that's what I want. We want to have fans on. We want to have, a good time. I want to say one more hello, because I didn't say it in the beginning, to my dear friend Debbie, who right now is in rehab because of her being ill. Tuesday, she gets out, she comes home, and just hoping for her to have a speedy recovery and get back to bingo. That lady loves bingo. So we're hoping that everything goes well. Debbie, we love you. Rich, I love you. Mwah. Give my best to Mildred. Oh my God, Harriet. I don't know why I said that. Give my best to Harriet. I'm telling you. I think that Tylenol is making me nuts already. But anyway, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you everybody for reading the article. Thank you everybody for reading the paper across the country. I am humbled and honored, and I love you all. Rich, I love you, and we'll see you next week.
And congratulations on a well-deserved Hall of Fame, Carmela.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Proud of you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. That means the world to me. Thank you so much. Okay, everybody. We'll see you next week.